you can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loimasito is the best.
All right. Today I'll give you 10 tips with regards to resume rebrand strategies or tips for 2021, especially for the Middle East market and specifically UAE. Now, for those of you who do not know, I have this special offer, this kind of promotion that is running for the month of December. For those who are really serious about their personal brand, who are really serious about their profiles. So working with them to achieve their goals. Obviously, yes, I am making money, but I'm giving them absolute value. So it has been really busy because I never give special offers. I never give like a once in a lifetime kind of a deal. So if you're also still interested, let me know. Anyway, now the reason you're seeing me not do exercise today is because I'm actually feeling sick. I'm sick because I've been pushing myself, working too hard. Quite a number of clients. And what I realized is people are repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again without realizing it. So I thought, okay, make these 10 points and share it with those people as to why they are not getting a response, or what is the major mistake almost everyone is doing. And I see this repeated across the board. At number 1, okay, you can put it at number 10. At number 10, it is aiming too high. The thing about people is everyone believes that he deserves a good package. Everyone believes that he deserves a good position. But then you need to be pretty realistic. Are you aiming too high? Now, when the market, when the market is pretty good, you're offered good jobs, you're offered good salaries, you're offered good positions. So what happens is people believe that is what they are worth. They believe that is the standard. But that is not the standard. During a property boom, I'll tell you, I have met such individuals. People whose personality is so bad, I met this female through Tinder. This is a couple of years ago in Dubai. She had put a bloody photoshopped image. When I met her in real life, she was absolutely ugly. She was fat, she was smelly, she was like, oh my, she even had facial hair a little bit. She had dark spots on her face. She didn't even have a neck. And she had this body odor which was unbearable. Now this fat, ugly female, okay, I know you must say, oh, you're judging. I'm giving you facts. Okay, you want to kiss her ass, you can go stick your tongue wherever you want for her. But this female, she was making close to 100,000 dirhams a month. And this was during the property boom. Okay, her base salary was like 6 or 8,000, but she was literally minting money. And I'll tell you, her phone was ringing and ringing and ringing. I mean, even when we met, I wanted the so-called date to finish quickly as possible. Her phone kept ringing, messages, and I was like, fucking hell. And this girl, she was so ambitious. She was telling me that her goal was to build a shopping mall, to have her own building, not a house, building, which she could rent out apartments. She was that ambitious. Now, this was during the property boom days. Do you seriously think that today, given recession, given the market saturation, given the mortgage crisis, a person with this kind of personality who doesn't even know how personal hygiene can literally make 100,000 a month. So you need to know, you need to know what phase of the market you're in. You need to understand the demand supply. You need to know the economics. And right now, given the COVID situation and the recession, aiming too high is stupidity. In fact, I spoke to a guy. He wanted to be a director. When we sat down with his profile and all that, I realized that the director position was given to him because he was close to the owner. His actual designation, which he can look for after evaluating him, was just manager. He didn't have the skills of being a director at all. And because we corrected that, now he has started to get job offers. Until then, 6 to 8 months, he was just wasting his time. So that's the first thing that I want you to know is maybe you're aiming too high and that is your problem. Okay, at number 9, this one is, your the salary that you're asking. Now over here, there is either too high or too low. Okay, the previous one was you think you're knowing to yourself, you're aiming, oh, I want to be director, CEO. And the next one is in terms of the salary. Either you're asking too high or you're asking too low. Now, you'll be surprised to know that people who ask too low, nobody entertains them. Like, I'll give a simple example. Let's say I want someone to handle my website, okay? And the guy is saying, okay, I'll do it for $2 or $5. Another guy says, no, I'll do it for $1,000. Now the normal market rate, let's assume the normal market rate is 500. So I'll look for the range between 600 to 400. 400, 500, 600. Okay? Going lower than that doesn't make sense because how does the guy pay his expenses? What kind of quality, what kind of service would he give? So when you go too low, you're too stupid. And if you go too high, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I've had people who literally tell me, "Lo, I want $20,000. $20,000 for what?" Imagine a guy is getting $2,000 in India, but he's telling me, "I want $20,000 in UAE." From $2,000, why the fuck you want $20,000? Yeah, because Lloyd, the standard of living is very high in UAE. So that's why I'm going as based on market standard. Based on market standards, the guy who's an employer knows the rate in India is $2,000. He can get someone for $3,000. Why the fuck should he pay $20,000? And then the reverse is also true, where I've met people who are so depressed, who are so down, where they were earning, let's say, $1,000, they literally tell, "Loy, I'm ready to work for free. I just want a job, I want a visa for free." Man, if you start saying for free and all that, the guy will think that there's something wrong with this guy. And people don't want, see, you think that you can work for the guy and the guy doesn't lose anything. No, the guy is taking you into his world, into his family, into his organization. There are company secrets, there are workings. He'll be diverting his resources to train you. What if you're a psycho? There are even cases where people have caused trouble. So aiming too high and aiming too low, this is another problem. So salary, please keep in mind, you need to use common sense based on not just market demand, but based on what value added proposition you bring to the table. Okay, so when you write your covering letter, or some people even mention, I've seen people mention even their salaries on their CV. This is the range that they're looking at. I know it's not normal, but this is how the market is moving towards. Just understand what is the market rate, what the market is willing to pay, and from there decide either you up that a little bit by 10% or 20% based on the value you can bring to the organization, or come down a little bit more. Don't go too extreme. Point number 3 or at number 8. This one is absolutely so common. Overselling yourself. How many CVs have seen, how many profiles where people are positioning themselves as God's gift to mankind? Oh, I am this, I am that. I helped the company, on millions. I bought in 25% revenue of $1 million company. I contribute 80% of the targets. Please, see, here common sense comes into play. If you are so good, if you're God's gift to mankind, if you are a guy who generates 80% of a company's revenue, 80%, if you're that good, why will the company let you go? You'll be like, Loy, I was the one who sold it. Were you the one who sold it, or did the product sell by itself? For example, let's say somebody is working for Toyota. Whether you're there or not there, people will buy Toyota. Someone is working for Apple. Whether you're there or not there, people will buy Apple products. You are just the point of contact who initiates it. Yes, a little bit of relationship is required, a little bit of passing the knowledge and trying to convince a person. But you can't go around telling, I bought in 80% of the company revenue, I bought in 3% of the bottom line, and just, if you are that good, the company wouldn't let go of you. Stop stop overselling your skills to the point where it sounds unbelievable. Because I tell people, if you're so good, you wouldn't have been without a job. Companies would have been knocking at your door. This one is another crazy one. Number 7. This is, I don't know. I would categorize it as comedy. What do I mean by comedy? I got one guy who put his photograph like, seriously, huh? He put a photo like that. Then there was one girl who duck lips and showing a little bit of cleavage. I don't know what the fuck was she doing. Then there was another guy. He has put a decent photograph, and there he has actually put, I am the brand ambassador. I'm the global brand ambassador of this multinational company. I was just scratching. I showed that CV to some of my group members. I said, lo and behold, meet the global brand ambassador. From where the fuck do you get all these designations, man? And then there is one guy, he put, a pie chart. He put a pie chart. Hard work, so much. Smart work, so much. Teamwork, so much. He has drawn a pie chart with relation to work. Unproductive hours. He rated himself. Then there is one other guy. He has put, bars. Okay, honesty, focus. He has even mentioned honesty. Then he has put what? Dedication, determination, discipline, perseverance. He rated himself. From where the fuck do you get all these things, man? Who tells you to make all this CV? Then there are people, I've even got one CV where he mentioned his height, he's mentioned his weight, he's mentioned his religion, he mentioned his wife's name, mentioned father's name, mother's name. I showed this to the guys. I said, what the fuck is this, man? One of them said, yeah, in India, when you're applying for maybe army or something, it's called like a biodata. What the? You're applying for the UAE market. What the fuck are you doing with your father's name, mother's name, religion, number of children, and that also gender? He put sex. He put it. Oh my goodness. I look at these CVs and I feel like laughing. And then there are these people who want to show I'm creative. So by showing they're creative, they put these blue glasses with a pink background, and they want to show they are creative. When you make it too explicit, it backfires. And these are comedy kind of resumes. The only reason I cannot share these is because people have trusted me and sent me their CV. So I don't want to show them. And in fact, the most funny one was the one that I saw lately. A 40-year-old guy, he wants to put date of birth. He has put a baby, you know, baby is, what do you call that, pacifier. He has put that as a logo and put his date of birth. And his description was, I'm a student of learning who passionately wants to work hard to the point where he will give his life for his company. It was so poetic, it was so romantic, you know. And the guy who wants to call himself a student of experience, his job profile was CEO of his own company. Another, he was a director. His own company, he has been the CEO. His own company is a director. He wants to show he's a businessman. And now he wants to show that I'm a student of learning. And then he has put his date of birth with the pacifier logo. You know, email is that email emoji. Telephone is a telephone emoji. And if that was not bad enough, the climax was his CV was pink. Bright pink. So this should give you an idea what another idiot he is. And he was wondering why from, I think, 2 years, he has not got any job. 2 years. Comedy, that's what I call it. Then at number 5, or 5th point, or at number 6 from below. People writing utter rubbish. By utter rubbish, I mean senseless points. I mean, okay, I'll give you an example what I mean by utter rubbish. What? Keeping clients happy. Then reporting to the boss. Then coordinating with departments. Answering phone calls. Now, please explain to me, what does answering phone calls, answering emails, coordinating with the departments, what is this supposed to mean? What do you mean by coordinating with departments? You have to coordinate. Keeping clients happy, you have to keep clients happy. Getting the job done, you have to do your job. What are you talking? And then there are some other geniuses reporting to work on time, ensuring the job is done, going home only after work is over. Man, of course you'll go home. How can you write? And this is not children. These are not children. We are talking of grown adults. We are talking of mature people. We are talking of I mean, people in their 40s, 30s and 40s, man. If it was a small kid, I can understand. What are you guys doing? Then at number 5, hey doggy. This one is lazy copywriting. You know, when I sit down with someone to make their resume, my style is I go through every word. I go through every sentence. I go through every paragraph. I question each and everything. Okay, why did you put this? Okay, why did you put dynamic? Why did you put focus? Why did you put revenue generator? Why did you put project management? Why did you put budgeting? What do you mean by this? So we literally go word for word. And they get so shocked. They're like, shit, nobody has asked me so many questions. I said, yes, because it's your bloody document. It's your CV. How can you put all this stuff and not know what the fuck you're doing? No, Loy, I just put it. Yeah, that is you being lazy. It's lazy copywriting. No, Loy, I just saw the internet and I put it. Or sometimes I get the answer, yeah, I gave it to Naukri.com or Monster.com or some other .com. And man, you should know what the fuck you put on your CV, man. If you don't know how to explain it, what the fuck are you doing? Then at number 4, top, because we're going top 10, number 4. not knowing what you have put on your CV. There are so many times when I've sat down with a person and asked them, okay, on page 2, paragraph, the 4th paragraph, line number 6, what is that? Explain to me. They'll start rambling, they'll start talking, this and that, and they'll go on and on. And I stopped them, I said, stop. Tell me again, what are you talking? What do you mean by that? Then they'll ramble again. Finally, I tell them, listen, this what you put here, what you're rambling about, do you want to mention it? Do you think it adds any value? Does it give you a better chance of getting a job? And most of the time the answer is no, Loy, it doesn't. Then why is it there? Oh no, I wanted it to be 2 pages, so I guess they just put the word. No, it doesn't matter, it's 2 pages or even 1 page. You put only what is required. You don't know what you're putting on your own fucking CV? It doesn't make sense, man. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Then at number 3, okay, number 3 is making a CV as a CV to inform. Now you might be thinking, Loy, isn't that the purpose of the CV? You have to inform the person. There are 2 kinds of CVs. One is a CV to inform, and one is a CV to sell. So which one is your CV? Are you informing the person of your skills, or are you selling your skill? If you're simply selling, if you're simply informing the person, okay, these are the features. Okay, thank you very much. Selling is whereby you give something of incredible value, and you're like, no, you need to try this. You'll be amazed. It's the same thing, but reworded in a different way. Most of the guys and girls, they're busy informing people. This is what I did in this company. And then, obviously, there's a thin balance between selling and overhyping yourself. Oh, I was the one responsible for 80% of the revenue. Yeah. See, there's a fine line between saying, I went to the gym and I go to the gym. Another one is, I lifted world records in the gym. And third one is being specific as to what you did in the gym. How many times? What is the name of the workout? What was the intensity? And what was the purpose or directive? You need to use common sense over there, guys. And number 2, standing out. Yes, this is mainly with the younger generation. They want to stand out. They want to do something, from the colors, which are so amazing, to the design that looks like this is like designed by a professional agency. But the thing is, when you overdo it, your CV stops becoming a CV or resume, and it starts becoming a pamphlet or a fucking brochure. Most of you people have a brochure. I wouldn't call it a CV. I mean, look, it's nice that you put some effort into making your CV stand out, but then there should be a little bit of common sense to understand it's a content that sells. See, I'm not one of the best graphic designers. I just know basics. But I can assure you this much, I'm the master at content. I'm very good at writing. I'm very good at copywriting. I'm very good at reselling a person. I'm very good at making them stand out. But this has taken more than 20 years experience of trial and error, of making a living by writing. And you cannot, just as I can't become a doctor by just reading some google.com tips on being a doctor. I can't be an engineer with 15 years experience on your side and me just referring some books. You can't do my job, man. So why do I say you can't do my job? People telling me, oh, Loy, how do you find this? This is impressive. No, it's fucking shit, man. And last if not the least, the number 1 big reason why people, don't get jobs. It's just bullshit. Yeah, your CV is either full of shit, or you're talking shit, or you're shit. It's stinking all over. Look, here, let me give you a clue. Let me give a simple, basic, piece of advice. If you're applying and nobody is responding, that should tell you something is wrong. Market cannot be so bad that nobody will respond. Opportunities have not dried up that nobody is going to work. Companies have not totally stopped. Oh, everything will stop. We'll just hide in a small shell. Life has to continue. Business has to grow. People have to earn their livelihood. There are always opportunities. So if you're not getting a response, means there's something wrong with you. Something wrong with your approach. Something wrong that you're doing. You need to sort this out. Stop being lazy. Stop blaming, oh, the market is bad, or people are not fair, or there is racism, or there's favoritism. Okay, fine. If you are in Syria and it's war-torn country, fine, you'll not get a job there. If it's a complete lockdown where you're not allowed to go out of your house, total lockdown, not even go out, the police will shoot you. Fine, I agree. Nothing is working out. If you are running a restaurant and they say you can't open your restaurant, fine, there I agree. But the Middle East, we're talking the Middle East. People are going about doing their things. What is your excuse there? What are you talking? When you give this kind of bullshit, either your CV is bullshit, your personality is full of shit, or your thinking is crap. One of the three. Stop, man. There will always be a demand. There will always be a demand for your skills. There will always be someone willing to pay a certain amount of money. There's always an opportunity that somebody is willing to at least give you a try. I think it all comes down to you taking personal responsibility and making it happen. So these are the things I just wanted you to keep in mind, these 10 points. I don't know which one applies to you, but I can assure you this much. If the market is not responding to you at all, there's something wrong you're doing, not the market. Because if I'm dealing with people day to day, and these very same people, if before they are not able to get results, but now they are able to get results, means they were doing something wrong and now they're doing something right. Just have a paradigm shift. You need to take complete responsibility of your life and take charge of yourself. Only then you'll succeed. Otherwise, you can sit in your bubble, in a comfortable little reality. Oh, the market is bad. Racism exists. People are evil. Nobody loves me. And live your whole life that way. Don't blame anyone then. So I hope these 10 points give you some insight into your resume. If you find any one of them, start working on it. Since most of you like to go google.com, find out what is the problem on your resume. Go to google.com, search, find out ways you can make better. And if all that doesn't work, then take professional help. And what you pay is what you get. Don't expect world-class cuisine by going to a mediocre, just roadside greasy spoon diner. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know your thoughts, if I'm right or wrong. Love to hear what you have to say. Take care.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Macedo is the best.